What's up everyone, my name is Dusty and today we're diving into almost 25 things I wish I knew before playing Arc Raiders. The game launches in about 10 days and during the server slam I clocked over 35 hours. That's where most of these lessons come from. I also tried the LD tech test, but honestly it didn't hook me back then. Now the game is fun as hell. In this video I'm going to walk you through PvP mechanics and insights that will be extremely useful whether you have already played Arc Raiders or you're jumping in at launch. Stick around until the end and I'll guarantee you'll learn something new. Details you won't pick up unless someone actually tells you. Now, before we jump into the specifics, let's talk about one of the most underrated aspects of the game: reading what's happening around you. Arc Raiders doesn't hold your hand with a GPS or wall hacks, so the game relies on visual and audio cues to let you know where enemies are, what they're doing and when it's safe to push. Take bullet impacts for example. On the surface they just look cool, yeah, but they actually tell you a lot. Are you still burning through a shield or are you hitting health? That one detail can completely change your approach. Sometimes you push immediately, other times you back off to strip their shield first. It also helps you decide when to swap weapons or use utility instead of just holding left click and hoping for the best. The same kind of visual feedback shows up in other ways too. When a player gets knocked, a flare shoots into the sky from that location. That flare instantly tells you where a fight's happened, whether a grenade or a snipe down by someone, and whether you can third party it or not. But be careful, we got fake flares in this game and people can throw them to just fake it. They look real and if you fall for them, you'll run into traps. But most of the time flares are reliable and can guide your rotations, pushes or avoidance. And then there's sound. Footsteps and arc alarms basically fill the gap that a minimap would normally cover. They tell you who's nearby and from which direction. The audio design is strong enough that you can literally track people just by listening. That's why so many players get caught looting. They stop paying attention to sound and get punished by someone who did. I kill a lot of those people. Please just listen to what's happening around you. The principle of reading before reacting also applies when you see enemies directly. If you're close enough, you can tell what weapons they have, which can guide your decision on whether to engage or back off. The same goes for shields. Camera-like notes on the shoulder shows their shield tier, 1 for light, 2 for blue, 3 for epic. It's not always easy to see in the heat of the combat, but if you catch it, you get a head start in making the right decision before the fight even begins. One of the biggest factors in Arc Raiders and one of the most overlooked is stamina. Everything you do burns it. Running, jumping, rolling, whatever you do. I won't bore you with exact numbers, but the principle is simple. The players who manage stamina win more fights than the one who just spend it. There are easy ways to control it without changing your playstyle. Walking or crouching both save stamina and make you quieter, so you're not burning energy. Just to hand out free audio info, because I told you, people can gather those infos and use them against you. You really don't want to run everywhere. Sliding downhill as well is basically a free movement, which is huge when you're rushing to a certain location or you're rushing to an elevator. And if you need to cross a long distance, don't sprint until you're already low. Pre-recover a bit first, so you still have gas when the actual fight starts. Putting your weapon away doesn't save stamina, but it does make you move faster. So if you get caught in the open and cover is far, that holster and run decision can literally save your run. Once you hit cover, then you can reset, crouch, breath, reposition and decide how you re-engage. And all of that rolls into a bigger theme: patience beats panic. Most players shoot the instant they see someone. And that's exactly how they die. The moment you fire, you broadcast your location. And you might just dump damage into shields and get third parties for free. Position first, reveal second. Playing mostly solo trained this into me. Waiting for the right moment is not passive. It's actually the purpose of the game. More quietly, take the angle first, then commit when the kill is actually secure. To be fair, that one discipline not only keeps you alive longer, it turns fights from coin flips to your favor. Since we just talked about movement, it brings us naturally to positioning, one of the most important parts of surviving and winning fights in Arc Raiders. High ground is key. Almost every time I enter a fight, whether solo or with a squad, my first priority is finding the highest point I can get to. Even if it's a car, truck, or a small structure, getting on top gives you a better angle and more control over the fight. Because this is a third-person game, your vision isn't limited like in first-person shooters, and that makes high ground even more crucial. From above, you can see what's happening around you, spot enemies before they spot you, and take the upper hand in fights. Positioning isn't just about height though. The gadgets in the game can amplify your advantage. For instance, the barricade kit is amazing. You can deploy it wherever you need to block doorways, protect your squad, or even stop grenades before they hit you. I've used it both defensively to heal or reposition and aggressively to control the fight in open fields. And combined with the third-person perspective, you can peek around walls, corners, and objects for free information on enemy locations. Yes, to be fair, it's a little messy sometimes, but you can abuse it to see exactly what your enemies are doing without fully exposing yourself. That advantage alone can make the difference between winning or getting caught off guard. Another crucial thing to always keep in mind is your escape route. Fights can go sideways real fast, a third party can show up at any moment, or enemy squads can surround you. If you get stuck in a spot with only one exit, you're basically giving your opponents an advantage. Always have a plan. Where could you retreat if things go south? Never just commit to a location without knowing how you're gonna get out. Planning your movement and positioning carefully lets you stay alive longer, take fights on your terms, and avoid getting trapped in situations that turns against you. Now that we have covered positioning, it's time to talk about combat. And one of the best mechanics in the game is shoulder swapping. Seriously, this is something you need to abuse constantly. So if you're picking from cover and staying on the wrong shoulder, you might not even see an enemy hiding on the other side. Swapping shoulders at the right time gives you better information and control over fights. I see so many players ignoring this, but every fight, especially when moving into an unexplored area, is an opportunity to use shoulder swapping to your advantage. Even in squad fights, moving cover to cover while swapping shoulders lets you gather critical intel on the enemy without exposing yourself too much. Another key point is how to handle knocked enemies. It's tempting to rush in and finish someone, but in this game, downed players take a lot of bullets to finish. Instead, use them as a bait. If you down a player in cover, their teammates are forced to make a choice. Either engage you to revive them or give up the fight. That moment becomes your advantage, controlling the pace of the fight while their squad reacts. Of course, if a knocked enemy is very close to your position and could immediately alert their team, they can just ping and tell, okay, this guy's here. So you don't want that. You want to finish them as quickly as possible. Do it with E rather just shooting, because I mean you have to waste a lot of ammunition and you're just going to tell everybody where's your location. Your loadout plays a big role in deciding how to engage. Everyone can only carry 2 weapons in this game, so use them wisely. A shotgun is great for closing in quickly on enemies inside a building, while a long-range weapon might make it better to keep your distance and pick them off. Understanding your arsenal allows you to control engagement rather than letting the situation controls you. Grenades and other gadgets are equally important, really. Sitting in a firefight trading shots isn't always smart. So use the grenades to push enemies out of position, or a smoke to revive a teammate safely, or just a smoke when you want to run into an elevator or something like that. Every gadget can be applied creatively depending on the situation, so don't ignore them and use them. On the other hand, communication and pinging are huge, especially in squads. Even solo players can benefit from pinging to mark points of interest. When you ping an enemy, as long as they remain visible on your screen and they're not behind the cover, you can track their movement and adjust your strategy. If they move behind cover, pinging still gives you a general idea of where they might be. Using ping effectively keeps your team coordinated and ensures you're always making informed decisions during fight. So keep using it. Since we're talking about combat, it naturally leads us to healing and managing your resources, which is absolutely crucial in Arc Raiders. Your health bar has 2 parts, shield and HP. A lot of players make the mistake of healing their shields first, but that's a wrong order. Shields don't absorb all damage. Yeah, They don't. It just reduces it. Your flat HP is what really matters, so always heal that first. The same logic applies right after a fight. Many players get a kill and immediately rush to loot the body. Oh my god, never do that. It's an extraction shooter, it's gonna take time to loot somebody. It's not some kind of battle royale that you just go there and grab their items. Don't do that. Healing is more important than looting, definitely. You've already made noise, there's a flare in the sky, and enemies or third parties could be moving toward your location. First, heal yourself using your own consumables or grab healing items from the downed enemy's inventory. Only after you're topped off should you go back and loot the rest of their items. Survival always comes first. Speaking of loot, keep a close eye on ammunition and consumables, especially when you go out with free loadouts. Free loadouts give you a very limited ammunitions, usually around 3 or 4 magazines per weapon. Wasting bullets is a real risk, so finish down the enemies up close rather than spraying from distance, which also reduces sound and keeps your positioning safer. At the same time, looting enemy bodies efficiently can top off both your ammunition and your squad's resources if anyone is low. Depend on the situation. There's also a special perk in the skill tree that allows crafting during mission when you're topside, so make sure to level that up later as well. If you're running low on bandages or shield rechargers, you can open the crafting tab and make essential items on the fly. That's really important. Even better, Arcs drops components that can be used directly as shield rechargers. Yeah, some players think these are just crafting materials, but you can assign them to quick use and heal instantly. I mean, that's what I usually do when I go with the free loadout. I don't have shield rechargers with me. I have to kill those arcs, grab the components, and then I can put it in a quick use and use it whenever I want. I can recharge my shield. So when you're going out with the free loadout, make sure to prioritize looting arcs for these shield components. It's an often overlooked resource that can save your life. But before we move on, there are a few mistakes you absolutely want to avoid and some strategies to keep in mind to make sure you're using your healing, looting, and crafting to their full advantage. When you're moving around the map, it's important to learn it as fast as possible. After playing for 35 hours, I definitely got used to the layout. I knew where people are likely to sit, camp, or hold angles. That knowledge alone can save your life, but at the same time, never run across open fields carelessly. Those are the riskiest areas. For example, snipers and third parties love to catch people out in the open. Move from cover to cover and always be aware of your surroundings. Another simple tip, turn off VOIP or avoid talking near enemies. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many times I heard players chatting through their mic and then I use that to my advantage. Even something as innocent as talking to a friend or family member can give your position away and get you killed. Either turn it off or just use a push to talk or whatever. Flashlights are another tool that requires caution. They are great in dark areas, definitely, but only use them briefly to illuminate your path. Then turn them off immediately. Leaving a flashlight on for too long can make you a target, especially in tight or dark spaces. Patience also applies to shooting. Avoid long-range pokes that reveals your position unnecessarily. You might see an enemy and want to take a shot, but if you're exposed with no cover nearby, you could put yourself in serious danger. Wait for the right angle, stay behind cover, and don't give up your position for a single hit, especially if you have close range weapons and it's a long range fight. Don't do that. Crosshair positioning is another thing to pay attention to. Always leave some space between you and walls. Standing too close can mess with your shooting animation and leave you unable to respond when enemies approach. Keep the right distance so you can peek and shoot effectively while staying safe. That's it for this video. This was my first full guide for Arc Raiders and I'm definitely going to make more. I've got a reputation for sticking with games I love and this one is no exception. I think Arc Raiders has the potential to be one of the best games of the year in the extraction shooter genre. I'm hyped for this release and on launch day I'll be streaming it live. Until then, with 9 or 10 days left before release, I'll be uploading more tips, tricks and guides to help you get ready. So what are you waiting for? Make sure to like the video if it helped you, comment down below with your thoughts about the game or this guide, and don't forget to subscribe if you're into Arc Raiders. I'm going to be covering this game for a long time. Thanks for watching, much love, and as always, peace out.